Did you ever root for someone so hard that when they walked out the door, part of you felt a little betrayed? The Micah Parsons story stopped being only about sacks the moment the whispers started. A trade is a trade on paper, but behind closed doors, it's often 1,000 small decisions. Podcasts that prick egos, behaviors that rub teammates the wrong way, and choices that suddenly feel bigger than the plays themselves. Recent reporting, spearheaded by Albert Breer, suggests that Parsons' departure from Dallas had a human flavor to it. Some teammates reportedly viewed him as egotistical, and even his podcast created tensions that reached all the way up to Dak Prescott. Let's think about what that actually looks like inside a locker room. You've got stars who are universally loved, guys like Zach Martin or CeeDee Lamb, and then you've got players who, despite elite production, tilt the room. Breer's piece frames it as more than personality clash. It was a cultural mismatch. When teammates feel someone is constantly playing for the highlight or using media platforms in ways that undermine the team, trust frays. Trust isn't a stat you can measure in the box score, but it's the thing a team leans on when a game gets messy. CBSSports.com, there were also football reasons layered on top of the personality stuff. Some coaches and players around the league had quietly complained that Parsons would sometimes play out of structure, chasing a splash play, a play that might end up as a viral sack, but also leave the run defense exposed. Dallas finished near the bottom in run defense, and that weakness was explicitly mentioned by Jerry Jones when he explained why the Cowboys were willing to part ways. In other words, the move wasn't purely personal. It was also about football fit and scheme reliability. Yahoo Thethau. Now let's be blunt. None of this absolves Parsons of his on-field brilliance. You don't collect all-pro nods and single-handedly terrorize quarterbacks by accident. What it does is expose the tension that exists whenever an elite individual intersects with a collective machine. Great teams often balance personality with structure. When that balance tips, the consequence isn't always solved by paychecks or contracts. Sometimes the price is a trade package and a press release. SI, there's a second layer, optics and narrative. When Kirk Herbstreit and other high-profile commentators start applauding the Cowboys for letting him go, it signals a broader acceptance of the idea that culture matters as much as sacks. From the outside, it looks tidy. Team cleanse house, restores chemistry. From the inside, it's messier. Locker rooms are ecosystems where leadership, accountability, and subtle social contracts determine whether a game plan gets executed when the fourth quarter starts. Herbstreit's take wasn't just hot air, it reflected a real conversation happening in the media and among league insiders. SI. Here comes the payoff everyone's been waiting for. How do you judge this trade now? Dallas got 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, a veteran interior presence who was central to the Packers' run defense last year. Green Bay got a generational pass rusher and a blockbuster contract. If you reduce this to numbers, you get a clean equation. If you reduce it to human terms, you get a story about different priorities. Dallas choosing culture and long-term flexibility, Green Bay choosing instant jolt and market signal. Either choice is defensible, both are risky. CBSSports.com. But the most important beat in the whole episode is not who won the trade. It's what it says about modern superstar behavior. Podcast platforms, social media, and personal branding are now part of the professional athlete's toolkit. They can amplify voice and reach, sure, but they can also create friction. The same megaphone that builds a brand can also erode locker room trust if not handled with care. Parsons' case is a reminder that elite production doesn't automatically buy you immunity from cultural consequences. New York Post. And yes, there's a human cost. For fans, letting go of a player you loved is a small grief. For a locker room, removing a disruptive presence can feel like both relief and loss. For Parsons, it's a fresh start in Green Bay, a chance to wear number 1, to reset the narrative, and to prove that the hardest 4 months he described were the kind that forged something better rather than break it. For the Cowboys, it's a test of whether culture and draft capital can translate into wins. Yahoo Thethau. So what should you say when someone tells you it was just business? Say this: sometimes business is a mirror. Trades reflect not only value on tape, but also the invisible accounting of relationships, reputations, and trust. Micah Parsons' move from Dallas to Green Bay wasn't only a recalculation of talent, it was the moment a locker room's tolerance ran up against the marketplace, and the marketplace won this round. If you want a closing line to keep for a debate or a late night thread, talent makes headlines, but culture keeps championships. Parsons' sacks got clicks. The locker room's silence and what it says about belonging might be what shapes the rest of his story. Micah Parsons' blockbuster exit from Dallas isn't just about money or fit. New reports say it was about people. According to NFL insider Albert Breer, some Cowboys teammates viewed Parsons as self-centered and egotistical, and those tensions reportedly helped push the situation past the breaking point. Parsons had obvious chemistry with Trevon Diggs, but Breer says that wasn't universal. High-profile locker room staples like Zach Martin, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott remained popular internally, and Parsons' personality, plus off-field moves like his podcast, rubbed some teammates the wrong way. Breer also notes a football side gripe. Parsons was accused of playing out of structure in pursuit of splash plays, a style that sometimes undermined the Cowboys' run defense. Dallas finished 29th against the run last season, and Jerry Jones publicly framed the trade as a move to fix that deficiency. The cultural critique landed with outside voices, too. College football commentator Kirk Herbstreit suggested Parsons may have eroded the team's identity, saying the move to part ways indicates something serious was happening behind the scenes. For Dallas not willing to sign him, it must have been significant, Herbstreit said, arguing the Cowboys prioritized culture over talent. None of this paints Parsons as a villain. Teammates still exchanged well wishes after the trade, but it does help explain why an elite pass rusher wound up in a deal that netted Dallas 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. The trade now casts a new light on both franchises. Dallas reset the locker room and stockpiled capital, while the Packers bought premier edge talent at the cost of interior strength and future picks. Where this goes next is simple. Culture matters. Teams that pair superstar talent with a clear, shared identity tend to sustain success. Those that don't implode. Parsons' next chapter in Green Bay will be watched not just for sacks, but for whether he fits into a new locker room or repeats the same friction that reportedly hastened his departure from Dallas. What do you think? Was this a necessary move for the Cowboys or a warning sign about Parsons' long-term fit in the league? Micah Parsons' blockbuster exit from Dallas isn't just about money or fit. New reports say it was about people. According to NFL insider Albert Breer, some Cowboys teammates viewed Parsons as self-centered and egotistical, and those tensions reportedly helped push the situation past the breaking point. Parsons had obvious chemistry with Trevon Diggs, but Breer says that wasn't universal. High-profile locker room staples like Zach Martin, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott remained popular internally, and Parsons' personality, plus off-field moves like his podcast, rubbed some teammates the wrong way. Breer also notes a football side gripe. Parsons was accused of playing out of structure in pursuit of splash plays, a style that sometimes undermined the Cowboys' run defense. Dallas finished 29th against the run last season, and Jerry Jones publicly framed the trade as a move to fix that deficiency. The cultural critique landed with outside voices, too. College football commentator Kirk Herbstreit suggested Parsons may have eroded the team's identity, saying the move to part ways indicates something serious was happening behind the scenes. For Dallas not willing to sign him, it must have been significant, Herbstreit said, arguing the Cowboys prioritized culture over talent. None of this paints Parsons as a villain. Teammates still exchanged well wishes after the trade, but it does help explain why